Lou here, who got on even before I did. So good to see you. Thanks for joining. And so today, coming into being as always, and it's always nice to have that time to just connect with ourselves and just take that me time. And this isn't about being selfish. This isn't about pushing everybody else aside, but and it kind of is, but it is for the right reasons. It's to refresh and restore ourselves, and then we can go out and be of better service to. And Lydia is here too. Very nice. So yeah, if you stop in, do stop by and say hi. And on I don't always see the names pop up. It's always nice to see who's on. But anyways, so we need to take that time for ourselves to make sure that we are full up of ourselves before we go out and try to assist others. It's like when you're flying on an airplane and they tell you, if the oxygen masks come down, you need to put yours on first before you help anybody else, because otherwise you've got two people who are sinking because they can't breathe. So it's the same thing here. With connecting with ourselves, to being strong with ourselves. So sometimes we have to be a little selfish with that, or what's termed as selfish and in a negative way by society and by a lot of things that we're taught. You're supposed to put others before you. Not if that's going to put you out of balance, and then nobody wins. Nobody wins. So anyways. So let's take that me time and really just be present with ourselves and make ourselves of primary importance right now in this time together. That's what we're here for. So let's just take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top and just hold it for longer than you think you can. And then slowly exhale. And don't slowly exhale by tightening your throat. Slowly exhale by simply closing your mouth up more. So letting your throat be relaxed, but it's just the opening of the mouth. And just breathing that air out and then coming back into the breath. Letting yourself feel the breath. Whether you do this with the eyes open or eyes closed, letting yourself really focus in on feeling that breath moving into you. Like even have the sense of the air pushing into you. So there's something just pushing that air into you so that you breathe, so that you get that oxygen, so that oxygen feeds your body in all the ways that it does. And then exhaling out, pulling out all those toxins, all those residue of stuff that you no longer need out of you. Let's focus in on that for a little bit. So just feeling that air coming in, and see if you can have that sense of that air being kind of like, okay, let's push it in because this is needed for the body, for this physical body that we have. And on the out breath, just that release of what's no longer needed. And you can go as deep as, physical toxins as you want, but energetic frequency, whatever, that it's like, okay, just that thought you're having, let's just put it out with the breath. And it's kind of interesting to look at it from that point of view. How do we have luminous color? Hello, good to see you. Good to have that. It's interesting to look at it from the point of view of that air is being put into your physical body. Like something bigger than that physical body is taking command, taking control, saying, okay, this is what's needed here. And then releasing all that you don't need anymore. So that kind of ties into a little bit what we did last week of just that getting into that place of surrender. This is kind of ties into that because when we kind of shift our focus on seeing that air being put into us, just that shift of perception, sort of like taking us into realizing that there is this aspect of ourselves that is kind of in control, commanding our physical bodies. And it's not the human mind. It's not this little thinking mind, as some people like to call it, or the ego mind, or the monkey mind. But it's that grander aspect of who we are. So in allowing ourselves to almost like be taken over by this grander aspect of ourselves, opening up to that, because that's really the part that governs our lives, that will take care of our lives if we don't have that human level that tries to direct, tries to decide what's going to happen, what's the best way to happen, for things to happen. Maybe even on the out breath, having that sense of feeling more and more that presence that's of your spirit or that's around you. It's not the energetic field, but it's actually, if you want to get really technical, it's an outer layer that starts. It's that kind of almost final layer of the auric field that is at the level of that shift from from the human to the individual to the universal level. I want to get real technical, but it's different than what people think of when they think of the auric field. There's a different quality to it. So feeling that breath coming in from that pure essence of you that's coming in as you're breathing in that air, so that as I'm kind of describing that sensation of like the air is kind of getting pushed into you. And then on the exhale, just becoming more aware of that presence around you. But just allowing ourselves to connect to that aspect of ourselves more consciously. And it's that aspect is that higher expression that of who we are. You know, there's the human, but there's this other higher aspect. And allowing that breath to be that kind of that exchange between the two. Allowing your physical body to relax. You know, so on the out breath, if you're noticing your throat tensing up because maybe you just want to breathe more softly, just relax the throat, close the mouth a little bit more. And just keep allowing yourself to keep that awareness on the breath. And becoming more aware, again, with each breath, that presence, the non-physical presence of who you are. And just so keep doing that. I'm just going to slowly bringing in a little bit deeper connection into the earth, into the new earth for everybody as you're doing that. There we go. You know, and so this is, again, we're kind of coming back to this surrendering. So didn't have the intention of doing anything specific, but just looking for what's the highest level for the group here, what's the highest importance for the group. So we're coming back to this piece of surrender, surrendering to that, our true nature, our true aspect, so that it can really guide us through whatever it is that we need to be guided through, more properly, more balance, more alignment. Everybody's doing pretty well with that. There's, let's see, I'll just help people kind of, some are a little bit weaker in that coherence, in their essence there. So keep focusing. I'll work on that. Yeah, so if you're feeling a little scrambled right now, that's because the coherence factor is starting to scramble the aspects in your field here that are incongruent with that cohesiveness. So just keep focusing on the breath. Luminous color, you're good. You're doing good. Some other people. Yeah, Raulu, you're a little bit more on the scrambled side. And Lydia. Yeah, so different degrees of coherence, and that's okay. You know, it's kind of nice to be in a group like that because we don't need to all be in the same place. In fact, it's better if we're not all in the same place because then we can learn and grow. And even if we're on the stronger one, then we can see, oh yeah, you know, I remember being that way. Or it's like, yeah, right. That's a reminder. It's like, well, yeah, I don't really, and so that strengthens our determination to like really hold on to what we have. And when we're on the weaker side, it's like, oh, okay, that's what I can do. That's what I can be like. I can it gives you, it's like a signpost for it. It's like that's the direction you want to go into. And knowing that probably there's further down the line too. So yeah, there you go. You guys are all kind of coming into better coherence all around for everybody here. That's good. So Lydia, you need to learn to work. So I'm just going to put this in your mind to start helping you work with that. You need to strengthen that holding yourself strong within yourself. There's a little bit, you kind of wobble a little bit with that. So work in progress always, it's, we always grow and develop with that. Yeah, and luminous color, it's like I feel like you're going, it's like, I remember doing that. I remember that. Yeah, it's like, no, this is, yeah, no, I'm good here. I remember do that. So helping to reinforce, where you're at and that knowingness for yourself. Yeah, I know what I need to do for myself, and I know what I can do for myself, what to do. So that's good. So Lydia, so as we keep focusing on the breath, Lydia, so come into that awareness of your spine for yourself, and just feel your spine, just anchoring into that, holding that physical body in place, holding that physical body straight up. Let yourself go there. Ralu, you're doing pretty good. I'll get to you in a minute, because you're doing, as it's coming up from another time, because that I'm remembering. So just keep focusing on the breath and the spine, Lydia. So that's getting, you're kind of holding better. So that's good. And so Ralu, with you, if anybody else is on that they want to get more precise feedback on, Ralu. So so on the in breath, that breath coming in. So it's the breath of your spirit. You can see it that way. Your essence coming into you and filling up this physical form. And on the Alexandra, okay, hi, good to meet you. And on the exhale, feel that presence around you, but extend that sense of that presence. You kind of like staying in your physical body, that awareness of your physical body, but feel that being further out than it is, because it feels like you're about maybe half arm's length out, like if you put your arms to your side, out to your arms folded out to your elbows only, you want to be further out. So feel like you're on the exhale, you're just allowing yourself to expand out. You're releasing all that stuff you don't need, and you're expanding out, giving yourself some more space. So better than that one time when you were having like that, you were getting pecked at your head. So it's actually, you're holding that stronger, but you can give yourself more space. So Alexandra, so come into your breath, Alexandra. I don't know where you came in here, but just come into your breath. And come into your body. Feel your body. Kind of are more in your head. So just keep moving down, kind of start with your head, neck, shoulders, arms, upper torso. And while you're doing that, so bringing your awareness down your body like you are, and just focusing on the breath, just allowing yourself to breathe and be aware of your breath. Wiggle your toes as you're being aware of your body. Yeah, so that's better. feel into your legs too. Come into your legs more. And feel like the breath is, as you're breathing in, it's coming into your lungs, but it's moving all the way down through your legs to the through and to your feet. And on the out breath, actually, if you want, just for a couple times, breathing out through the bottoms of your feet. And then see if you can come back to just breathing in through your nose and maybe out your mouth with just the air, but feeling your whole presence in your body. It might feel a little uncomfortable. You might feel like kind of like, almost like you're not, the shirt feels a little off, or a little scratchy or a little something. Yeah, just breathe into that. Just notice that and just kind of keep breathing through that. Yeah, that should start feeling better now because it's looking better for you too. Okay, just shifting out. So there's some, it's interesting how that happens when we do these little things. And now what's happened is that there's been just a layer of what I like to call riffraff energy. And that's shifting. My head feels numbed and squeezed. Okay, just keep focusing on your spine. A little bit of a, I want to say it's another reality that's coming in, another dimension that's kind of putting pressure on you. That's a control factor that you've got going on. It's trying to maintain you in that place of instability. So kind of say, no, I'm here in my spine. I'm focusing on my spine. I'm in my body. And, you have the right to command things out of your space. It's your space. You got a lot of family pressure on you to be a certain way. So keep focusing on that again, your breath, just breathing and focusing on your spine. It's also kind of kept you from connecting. How can I say this? Having your own connection to pure source that is yours, that is pure, that is true. They've kind of it's been. Does that make sense to you, Lydia? So you've been kind of hampered. But keep focusing on your breath, keep focusing on your spine. Alexandra, keep focusing as you're breathing. So focus on your legs and your feet, and once in a while just wiggle your toes. Find yourself. It's like, oh yeah, all my body, all the way down to those toes. That's my body. It would be good if you did some work by placing your awareness on your legs. So as you're walking around, even squeezing your legs, the pressure of perfectionism. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. You have to fit in perfectly into their scheme of things, if you want to see it that way. Conformity, I think, would be a word that I would use more than perfection. Yeah, so like Alexandra, like uh, feeling your legs, like literally squeezing them with your hands. It's like, okay, these are my legs, these are my legs. Because there's a lot of not you in your legs. Yeah, so Lydia, again, just coming into your space and saying, no, this is my body, my being, and taking back that space. So yeah, and luminous color. Let's see. Yeah, luminous color, you're doing pretty well. There's a little bit, I feel like you get a little bit of pressure from the external that comes in. You're holding pretty well, but it's almost like kind of pushing, when you hold a balloon and you kind of push into that balloon. So it holds pretty well, but it kind of gets indented a little bit. I think that's my sense of a little bit so that's good. It's you're able to hold that and just sometimes for different things, different patterns that we have, or different situations that bring up deeper aspects of some patterns. It's like, yeah. So if you want an image to work with, it's that arms length out, that it's like that balloon. You're in that balloon that's arms length out all the way around. That's holding. Yeah. Almost feels like it's masculine for you, like somebody wants to push in. Um, it feels like somebody is there's a way that they're demanding, they're trying to demand something from you, even if it's just presence or even if it's just caving into that. Does that make sense for you? Luminous color. And you're doing a good job of holding back, but it's just there are those moments when stuff like that comes up. Okay, bringing everybody back into that awareness of the breath. Wow. Mm. And yeah, let's strengthen that, not coherence, but that fullness, all the way to that arm's length out for people. So that's different than coherence. Both work together. Hmm. Yeah, good. Everybody's kind of clicked in together there. That's really nice. Yeah, very, very good. Just I'm going to have you hold this a little longer because it's kind of stretching people's limits. It's like I can hold it up for so long, but then it's like, but let's hold it longer. Let's stretch that limit for ourselves. And so just take a nice deep breath in from the core of the earth, filling yourself up, Fill yourself with that strength, that holding power for yourself. That determination to hold strong for yourself. Yeah, nice. It's good to like stretch those limits. This is kind of like the workout of just stretching the limits and, like going from the next level up of weights if you're doing the workout. Yeah, very nice. Very nice, yeah. So feel yourself where you're at and take a minute. Feel that space, feel that expansiveness of your space. Of your being. I notice that's just my name up there, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. I'll put up my usual. There we go. And then yeah, letting yourself be in this moment with yourself. Just flashing up there my little QR code. If you're inclined to make donations, and this reminded me, just to thank you for people for donations, because all of a sudden I get these donations like, wow, and some names I recognize and some names I don't know, so it's thank you very much for that. But just if you're inclined to, there's no obligation to. And Joni, so we're kind of coming to the end, but let yourself just kind of join in and sit in the space and feel that sense of wholeness for yourself. Yeah, very nice. And just that quietness. So, sometimes the day is just crazy, and sometimes it's not even crazy. I was on the, I had to go online to look up some information. And then it's like you get off. I don't think I was on there that long, but you feel like a zombie, So uh, I think some of these websites do that on purpose. If you ask me, then you can't come off of there, and you have no idea what. And so it's coming back to this space, and here, but even for yourself. Uh, and sometimes we just need that extra support. I'm there too. There's times where it's like, okay, it's taking a little bit more effort. I just want to get through that. So you get that extra support. So listening to the recordings is one of those. And I know some of you have some other really good resources for yourself beyond this, but this is one of them for you. Because we're moving through some really interesting stuff where this piece, holding that wholeness for ourselves, that coherence and that wholeness and that fullness of ourselves is important. No matter what we're going through, this piece is important because it will just help carry you forward in a smoother way. So very nice. How's everybody doing? If you want to share any comments, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. Okay. Well, then we will bring it to an end for today. Sorry you joined in at the end, Joni. I hope you can at least get a little flavor of it at the end there for yourself. Like stepping out and getting that fresh breeze in your face, in your being. All right, very good. Very nice to see everybody. Do you do scans? Um, well, I did a little bit. So, did you hear what I was saying with you earlier? So that was kind of focused on the session. Hold on, feeling nice. Thank you for your support. It felt really powerful. Oh, good. Glad that's helpful. So, work on those legs, Alexandra. Um, Yeah, and I can so you've got now that you're bringing this up, there's a little bit you've got this kinda like, you're trying to figure out something out. Come into yourself. Thanks for the gift. Yeah, you're welcome, Lydia. Thanks for joining in. Uh, so it's interesting because what happened with you, Luminous Color, just I think this is an important piece for yourself here. During so when we were in the group and focusing on the group, and you were really holding yourself really well. And then it's like you're letting something get in the way. So maybe it's an issue, a question you have. Uh, the, it kind of starts to get into the mental level, and now you're not in that place where you were even just 5 minutes ago. So I think I would say that's an important piece for you, how well you are able to maintain that strength for yourself in holding yourself and holding the coherence of your field and your essence, yourself. Um, does that make sense to you? It's like something will come in, and all of a sudden it's like uh, it, it's like there's a question mark that comes up for you and you're like, shit. Okay, so here's an example, personal example, because I was listening to a seminar yesterday, and there were different speakers, and they're doing different things. I'm like looking at this, it's like, I know. And then so it's clear to me it's like a no. But then I hear something, and I noticed it this time, so I was like, yeah, you know, let's cut that out. But it's like, heard somebody say something. It's like, oh, maybe I do want that. And then it's like, wait, hold, stop a minute. It was clear to me to begin with. No, this isn't, not whatever, not, it's no. And staying with that, staying strong with yourself. So that external piece, and that was showing up a little bit. And so in the group, um, you were holding strong. You had kind of that pressure. And so watch that play from other people, because people will try, when people are desperate, they will try to push in any way they can. So they're going to keep testing you to see. It's like, okay, will she cave in now? Will she cave in now? Will she cave in? Maybe this angle, maybe that angle. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, because you wish you could just say, okay, no once, and that would be it. But until you have that really anchored into your being, so it's like your whole presence says very clearly no. And it doesn't have to be like a smack in the face no. It can be just as very clear no. There's going to be those attempts. And even when you're going through um, shifting out of, like abuse or control patterns, for example, there's going to be that testing keeps coming up, and I've gone through that also. And it gets easier and easier. As it gets easier and easier, as you shift up, you have different levels of kind of testing for yourself. So so notice that, and as soon as you notice that you're kind of like, God, I'm wavering here. What is it that you need to do for yourself when you notice that you're wavering that will bring you back into that alignment with yourself, to that strength of yourself? Now, it could mean a lot of different things. It could mean, like, at the physical level, it's like, I need to step out of this room. And I've told people before, it's like, you're at work, just go take that bathroom break and just sit in that bathroom stall if you have to, if that's the only way you can get out of the situation, so that you can really just come back into that connection for yourself. But, so think of strategies for yourself. What gets you back into that alignment? And there's different things. If you're by yourself, it might be easier. Or if you're on the phone, then you can just hang up and then you're kind of by yourself again. There's certain people that might be, a little harder. So what, on all these different levels, if you are somebody that picks up on people's thoughts, and the way that might show up is you start having these conversations in your head with somebody that's not there, you're picking up on their frequencies regardless of where they are. So if that's something that happens to you, for example, then stop your thoughts and just, like, when you notice that, it's like, no, I'm not going to have this conversation now. And just focus on not thinking, literally. Does that make sense? And anybody else, if what I said makes sense. Starry Galaxy Cat, hello. We're still on, so you're joining us at the end with our chat here, but that's fine. That's good too. So luminous color, is that helpful for you? Very, very helpful. Thank you. Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's work in progress. It's work on really owning yourself. And there are just going to be those moments where we kind of dip down, and we're, for whatever reason, there's a lot of possibilities. We just, one of those days where we're a little and so need to just come in. About to close my business and file bankruptcy, and having a difficult time. Okay, so yeah, that's a hard thing to go through. And part of the reason that is probably hard is because of all the, what's the word I want to say? All the stigma that gets attached to closing the business, filing for bankruptcy. There's a lot of stigma around that. It's like, oh, total failure. I didn't do it well. Blah, blah, blah. There's all this thing. So notice what's coming up for you around that. So failure, and it's like all these voices that have nothing to do with you, that probably have no idea what your path is in life and what you're here to do. Have to go. I'm going to re-listen to you. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Nice to have you join in. Luminous color. So Star Cat, yeah. So, write that out for yourself. Write all those thoughts. It's like all these negative thoughts that are coming up around bankruptcy and business. Hell, maybe it's like, wow, this is a grand opportunity, because this thing is holding me back. Because where I was when I had started this business was, I was out of sync with myself. I was trying to prove myself. And you know what? It's time to move out of that. Because if I'm using my business to prove myself, then I'm always going to be failing. And it's always going to have to be, I've got to get the business to do more and more and more and more. So just sit down with yourself. beyond failure. So failure might be first one. It's like everything that everybody's saying. It's like, how is that related to your path? How is that related to who you are and what you are um, here for? So I started it based on the ego, not my true self. Yeah. So basically, it's like your true self. And this year, I'm not surprised it's happening this year. It's time to just step away from that. So celebrate. Turn that around for yourself. It's like, we're going to celebrate because I'm letting it go. It's scary. That I grant you, it's definitely scary. Totally relate with that one for you with that one. It's very scary to do that. But start just write out all those negatives. See, just write it. And as you're writing it out, it will come out of you. It will release out of you instead of like holding it pent in. And rip up that piece of paper, say, I'm done with this. I'm done with whatever. Burn it, whatever you need to do. Toss it, burn it, etc. for yourself. So make it a celebration. Make it a celebration for that possibility to really come into your true self, to find that peace, to really connect in with your true self and let that guide you. So it's work in progress always. It's not, I'm not there 100%, 100% of the time. But I'll tell you, when you are in those moments of really being in that boom, it's you don't want anything else. You don't need anything else because that is just the most incredible place to be, and everything in life is at your feet, kind of thing. So good for you for putting it out there. It's like, yes, yes, let's make it this the year. And this is the year, the time now. You're a perfect place for closing out that business and filing bankruptcy and saying, done with the old. This is it. This is the time for you. So good for you. And the hell with everybody else. Because if they're seeing that as a failure, then they have no idea what your path is and what you're here for. And you're here for much grander things. So, yay. Hats off to you. All right. Great words of wisdom. Yes, done with the old. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But use that writing to help you kind of just really clear that out. Just write it all out, all that judgment, all that failure, fear, everything that's coming up, just allowing that to be expressed so that it's not, going like this and struggling through it. Very good. Good session. A little bit of coming in at the end. So go back and listen to this one, Star Galaxy, or anybody else who's joining in late. This was a nice session again of really, just connecting in more deeply to ourselves and coming in and really being in that presence and holding that coherence for ourselves and that fullness. So yeah, very nice session. Real good. We're having some great sessions at the beginning of the year. To start us off. So anyways, all right. Well, take care, everybody, and see you in the ethers or next Wednesday if you show up or wherever else we meet up. All right. Thanks a lot.